everyone, and welcome to a extra special episode of the Entertainment Budacast. I'm your host, Matt Haywood, and we are here today with a little bit lighter squad to discuss Season 4 of Game of Thrones, which wrapped, I think, 2 weeks ago now. It was an overall pretty stellar season. A lot of major things happened. But before we get deep into the discussion, first and foremost, there will be spoilers, okay? Spoilers. There will be spoilers and some more spoilers. So if you have not caught up on the 4th season of Game of Thrones, you probably do not want to keep on listening. It'll be sad to lose you. Please don't leave us. But we don't want to ruin the experience for you. So with that being said, I want to introduce the two cast members with me today on the Budacast. As always, we have Mr. Music over there in Portsmouth, England. 10 Bensons, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I was waiting for you to say Portsmouth.
Portsmouth?
Portsmouth,
England, huh? Right? I mean, that's how we all
geezer.
Yeah, that's how we all sound to you. It's just hey, my name's Matt. I'm from the United States. We can't all sound proper, you know. So, anyways, so we have 10 Bensons. We also have the lovely Anna Febo down there in Orlando, Florida, soon to be moving to an undisclosed location. How you doing, Anna?
I'm doing good. It's raining over here.
It's raining men, as always, down in Orlando.
I don't know about that, but it's raining something.
So anyways, it's always raining men in your house, Anna, we know that.
That's why she's got to move.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She has a man leak. She has a man leak in her roof. All right, so let's get serious, guys. Let's break down Westeros. Oh, first, as always, we always have to commemorate our one host who could not make it tonight. We always make sure to mention him on every cast, even if he doesn't participate, and that is none other than the Wu-Tang Clan, a.k.a. Raymond Pareca, skateboarder master. So Ray's not on with us. He's selling some skateboards, trying to make a little bit of cash so he can stay alive, eat, stuff like that. So we excused him from the podcast tonight. Please send any hate mail to ray@entertainmentboo.com if you're upset that he is not on here. So anyways, Benson's and Anna, let's talk about this season 4, which did just end. It opened a little slow, in my opinion, but it sure as hell hit its stride during episode 3 when a major character was killed off. But before we get to that character, overall, I guess, what'd you think of the finale, at least? Did it end up the way you thought it would end up? Did things happen the way you thought they'd happen, or were you surprised by the ending, I guess?
Not really surprised by the ending. I think the problem with finales is they try to wrap things up, but then set things up, but they don't give you enough setup. Like with Khaleesi, I mean, she was all in the episode for, 2 minutes?
Yeah,
2 or 3 minutes?
Dany was shortchanged this entire season, so hopefully they'll make up for that next season. Yeah. But what else did you think at the end? Did the whole Tyrion thing surprise you at all, or?
I was shocked by it. I honestly thought maybe he was going for Cersei, not so much his father, and even running into Shae, I'm like, oh, well, that was interesting. But I kind of alluded to the fact that maybe his father and Shae were together because she was in the bed. But I don't know.
She's the funny whore.
Because she's a whore, exactly. She's a whore. That's what she is. That's what she does.
She's a funny whore.
She's a whore, and Tywin wanted him some. So I love that part in the book. It kind of gives you a little bit of, makes you feel a little bit better for Tyrion after you think that Oberyn's going to win the battle by, the trial by combat for him, and then he fucks that up. And you're like, damn it, Tyrion, no, you can't lose Tyrion.
I didn't think that it was going to be Tyrion that was going to do it. I genuinely didn't think so. I mean, like, I had in my obviously in my head, I knew that there was going to be some kind of revenge, and I did know it was going to be Tywin, but I didn't think it was Tyrion that was going to do it. I actually thought that for a moment, I thought it might be Cersei. There seemed to be that, because obviously I have no prior knowledge. I've not read the books.
Yeah, that's a good point, because they did, in the last episode, they kind of made it seem like Cersei finally got a one-up on Tywin when she's like, hey, Dad, I'm not marrying these people you want me to marry. You go fuck yourself, and if you make me marry, I'm going to tell everyone that Jaime and I blow each other and their kids are inbreds.
Yeah.
So,
And when obviously, then when she went to tell Jaime and his reaction, I thought, right, either it's going to be Jaime who gets confronted by Tywin, or Cersei just outright snubs him out, and carries on doing what she wants to do best, which is fucking
that's
her
where the
brother.
show misleads you a bit, because none of that really, I mean, Cersei never threatened Tywin or got the upper hand on him, and actually in the book, she was pledged to marry someone completely different, not Loras is actually part of the Kingsguard in the book. So he'd be like Jaime.
He was part of Renly's Kingsguard, wasn't he?
Right.
Yeah.
But even by the time the Tyrells get to King's Landing, he is immediately inducted into the Kingsguard. So
Right.
She's supposed to marry a Willis Tyrell. Obviously, they don't introduce random characters like that in the TV show to save time. But yeah, so when I read in the book, I thought it was fantastic that Tyrion got the one-up on his dad and that Varys was helping him out. Because if you didn't notice, I mean, throughout this season of the show, Varys was, I think, in the first 2 episodes, then he just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, he disappeared, yeah.
You're like, what the hell is he up to?
Yeah.
But
he's a character that I really like.
Yeah, he's great. And the guy that plays him in the show is fantastic. I mean, he from the character to the book and how it translates to the show, that dude is brilliant.
Yeah.
Varys definitely plays a much larger role than we all may think.
And am I right in assuming that he is not returning to King's Landing just because of the way he went on the ship as well and kind of sat down next to the box with Tyrion in?
Well, I mean, you're
All
going
right,
to make me break
that
my
would be
first rule.
considered a spoiler.
Yeah.
Would it? I mean, would it really? I just said, am I right in assuming? You don't have to answer it.
Yeah, and assuming you would be right. I mean, it does
Yeah.
make logic sense that he's leaving with Tyrion to go over to Braavos and the Free Cities, but
I don't know whether he's... It doesn't. I don't know whether he's going to go with Tyrion or whatever, but I just got that impression that he sat down. He's kind of, because they had that shot of King's Landing, of him looking at King's Landing, and I think he was kind of resigned to the fact that he couldn't go back there, at least for a while.
do you guys, this is taking it back to season 1, do you guys remember he's like the mayor of Pentos, so this is in the Free Cities. This is where Dany and her brothers, Viserys.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so that guy and Varys have always been
Had a bit
working
of a-
together.
Yeah. Well, in the first series, you actually see them together, don't you?
Yes.
So
So they are
them as well.
they are still in league.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Yeah. Okay. So he's got friends to go to. Let's say
Yeah,
it would make
yeah.
sense that he would go see an old
Right,
a
and he
bird
has-
of his, so to speak.
And he has his own reasons for helping Tyrion out, outside of just helping Jaime and whatnot. I mean, Jaime is the one that comes and gets him out of the cell, so that was legit. And Varys is the
Yeah.
one that leads him out, and it's neither of them said, "Oh, hey, why don't you go up and kill your dad?" I mean, Tyrion's getting out, and he just so happens to see Shay in bed, and he is crushed by that, so he chokes the fuck out of her, and then his dad has basically hated him his whole life and condemned him to die over a bullshit trial.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
like, you know what? Screw you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean,
the death of
it was a nice
Tywin.
bit of retribution, wasn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah, and you'll see that the death of Tywin really changes the dynamic going forward.
So this brings me up to another episode. I can't remember. It was either episode 1 or 2. And it is when, I believe it's Stannis, goes to Braavos. And it's the first time we see Braavos properly. And it's the Iron Bank.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if I remember, the Lannisters are ridiculously in debt to the Iron Bank. So now with Tywin out of the way, surely surely things are going to be, because you've heard a lot about the Iron Bank, about, these guys are not to be fucked with.
You have definitely zeroed in on a key part, but again, I cannot elaborate on it without.
No, that's fair enough. Don't elaborate.
But
on
no,
it,
I'm glad you picked up on that. The iron that whole little mini scene with the Iron Bank is huge in how things play out because
I mean, like, look at Stannis, and Stannis is a pompous prick. And he basically gets told to, go fuck yourself.
Well, that's the other thing of the finale. Were you surprised to see Stannis show up at the Wall?
I was surprised to see him show up at the Wall, kind of.
Yeah.
But I do remember Lady Melisandre saying about that the threat is not the squabble for the Seven Kingdoms. It's actually the North.
Yeah.
She does mention that. So it was a surprise that he turned up when he did, but I was kind of expecting him to turn up at some point.
That's kind of a bummer because in the book when that happened, I was like, yeah, because here's how it happens in the book. Jon Snow does not voluntarily go out to treat with Mance Rayder, okay?
I'm off to go.
Basically the way, yeah.
I'm off to talk with Mance.
Jon Snow. But
I'm going to go pout my way over there.
I've got to bury Ygritte in the snow.
Dude, that's a money one, by the way. But anyways, here's how the whole Battle of the Wall in the book goes down like this. That Alistair Thorne is not in control. Janos Slynt isn't even at the Wall yet. Like, he hasn't even made it there. That's that bald guy that hid with Gillian the baby.
He used to be the commander of the City Watch.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what happens is Jon Snow actually leads that attack. He does get them down in the tunnel to defend it, and people do die down there, but he's the one that orchestrates the entire wall defense and succeeds. He does not go down and see Ygritte killed. He does find her on the battlefield, and she does die in his arms. But anyway, so Jon Snow is the hero of that
And I'm
battle.
pretty sure when she dies, she doesn't say, "You know nothing, Jon Snow."
Yeah. Let me get through this, but I'm going to touch on that episode.
Wasn't cliched enough.
Oh God, that was so
episode,
dramatic. Sorry.
That episode was the worst episode yet in all 4 seasons. But anyway, so Jon Snow, hero, Janos Slynt shows up, and his buddy Alistair, they team up. They're like, Jon Snow, you're actually a traitor, and you should be killed, and blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, well, we can't kill him here because everyone respects him and they love him. They'll just kill us. So they're like, I know what we'll do. We'll send them out to Mance Rayder's camp and just let Mance kill him for being a traitor to the wildlings. So Jon Snow is actually, he's actually forced to go out there, and he's pretty much resigned the fact, like, fuck, I'm dead. Because once I get to the wildling camps and they know that I've already turned my cloak again, they're just going to slit my throat. Yeah. So you're sitting there, Jon's talking to Mance, and you're like, fuck, man, they're going to kill Jon. And then all of a sudden you hear, the horns, and Stannis comes in with the cavalry and just destroys Mance's army. So I think that was one of those the TV kind of sucked a little bit of that moment out of it. So I kind of understand why you guys are like, it was neat, but whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. No. I was going to say, that did stick out in my mind, the whole Lady Melisandre saying about we have to help.
They kind of
that was season 3, wasn't it? I think towards the end of season 3 or at the end of season 3.
In the book, it really why they end up there is that Davos, his hand, if you will, is just learning how to read, and he gets the letter because Maester Aemon, the guy at the wall, he sends letters to all the kings. He doesn't give a shit, who the real king, this king or that. He sends letters everywhere saying, listen, if you guys don't send help up here, it's not going to matter if you win your little battle of the 5 kingdoms, because we've got some shit coming down from the north that can fuck anyone up. I mean, this is like some supernatural stuff. So please send help. Obviously, everyone ignores them, but you know that Davos read the letter, but you never really know if he follows up on it until you're in that moment when Snow is with Mance getting grilled, and then bam, here comes Baratheon and just wipes Mance's army out. So
I just have again, this is just me trying to think of what's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mance Rayder's kind of wildling army ends up joining with Stannis after they've taken care of the White Walkers or whatever, or even I don't know. I mean, the thing is, we don't seem to know much about these White Walkers. For all I know, they could just be very intelligent, beings. You know, we don't know hardly anything about.
Well, there
them.
was that scene this season that this
There's
isn't in the
definite
book.
hierarchy. Yeah.
Yeah, remember they took that baby there and
Right.
that Darth Maul guy. I mean that was all from the show. So
I mean,
maybe they know more than we do about.
we're
the
led to,
White
well, we're led
Walkers.
to believe these babies are given as a sacrifice, but for all we know, it could be that they're taken away and trained to be some kind of warrior from birth, kind of like an Unsullied.
Right, that's what I was thinking
So-
too, because when was it season 3? When I forgot where they're at with the camp with all the women, and if they have a boy, it's a sacrifice.
Yeah,
and
that's
and
Craster's
right.
Yeah,
Craster's
Craster's
keep.
So it's you don't know anything. It just seems like you have a boy. You know, they have a boy and they can't keep the boy, so they leave it out in the woods, and it's like a sacrifice. And you think, oh no, poor baby. And then this season, when they show that, it's like, ooh, okay, well this is interesting. So the babies
so that
aren't
was new.
dying.
That was even new to me. I mean, that's never discussed in the book. You do know, you have the White Walkers. They're the guys with the blue eyes that
Yeah.
aren't zombies, but you also have the zombies that, if killed by a White Walker, will reanimate and come back to life.
Yeah.
You know, when they attacked Lord Mormont and Jon Snow saved them and got Longclaw and all that fun stuff for doing
Yeah.
it. But really, back to season 4, like I touched upon it was episode 9. It was just called, I think it was called like the Battle of the Wall or something like that. Me personally, I thought it was the worst episode in Game of Thrones history. Anyone else?
I don't know.
I guess I think the book obviously ruins it a bit for me because I kind of knew how the battle played out, and I just watched an entire battle go on for an hour that didn't happen anything like it did in the book. But it was just too much Jon Snow, too much the Wall, and then like Anna said, I mean, I looked at my buddy when I saw what the show was going to be about. I said, I'll bet you $1,000 that Jon Snow and Ygritte run into each other on the battlefield. He sees her, dies, and she will say her line. And sure as shit, that all played out.
Yeah, no,
where
I remember you saying about it.
it was so cheesy.
It was
just,
corny, and I didn't care for it.
Yeah, I mean that was a particularly crappy bit, but I think the battle was actually okay, although it wasn't as dramatic as I was expecting. Especially like down at the bottom, I think, where we didn't get to see the giant and that fight there. That could have been a real epic fight, but we spent so much time on Sam, you know, waddling around. It's just like, oh, come off it. You know, I'm really getting bored of Sam. I don't know why.
I think that's
he's
my
a nice
point.
guy,
Is in the book,
but-
it was so much more exciting and action-packed than what we saw, really.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I wouldn't say it's one of the worst episodes. I'm trying to think. There's one in, I think it was season 3 that I didn't really care for. That much.
Not to interrupt.
Season 3 as a
really.
whole was a bit.
Not to interrupt, but if you hear thunder in the background, it's storming really bad here in Florida, so I apologize.
Ooh,
it might even add for a natural effect for
Yeah,
the
natural sound
intensity
effects,
of
I
the
like it.
episode. So, I mean,
I
it
like
could be a
it.
good thing or a bad thing. But carry on.
Are you praying to the old gods or the new?
I may fart into my mic and make my own thunder.
The butt thunder.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
I'm just hoping that internet
Right, well,
doesn't go out.
yeah, that's just what the right. That's just knocked me for 6. What the fuck? Yeah, no, we were talking about.
We're talking about the Wall episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. The Wall
I
episode.
didn't
About
really
Sam
like it,
and all that.
and Sam gets
Yeah.
probably a little more screen time than he should.
It's not so much that he probably gets more screen time than he should. I just think that they're really playing this whole kind of like basically a guy who wants to get laid really badly.
Yeah, and that's all for TV too. That's all
Yeah.
for TV.
Well, I was.
It's just
I
like
mean, in the books, you can obviously tell he cares for Gilly and her
well,
son,
was she?
but he doesn't really make advances on her.
But was she a wildling though at some point? Because
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Craster is considered a wildling, and she was one of his wives, probably from her sister.
oh shit.
okay,
That
because
reminds me.
when
No, sorry, carry on.
when the wildlings and the rest of I'm really bad with the names on the show because there's just too many to remember, but when they go and they attack and they're killing everyone and she goes down below and she's hiding with the baby, but then
She was already taken from Craster's Keep, and Sam put her in Moletown to get her out of the wall.
Right.
Yeah, it was like a whorehouse, wasn't it?
Yeah, like almost like a brothel. I don't know.
That's all made for TV too. That never happened.
Okay, so they're like seeing her and just assuming like,
oh, that's nice.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is so ominous.
So yeah, the thunder is stealing my thunder.
All right, so we'll quit picking on Samwell. I mean, it's not nice to make fun of fat people.
There's something that we haven't seen throughout the entire series. At least I don't remember. Is I can't remember her name, but the wildling woman that attacked Bran and is now with Rickon.
Yeah.
Osha.
Yeah.
She wasn't in it at all. You never saw her at all.
Well, that makes sense because honestly, once they split like they did, you don't. I mean, I'm at the end of book 5 and
there's no
still
mention.
nothing.
Not even a mention.
Okay.
Damn. They're good. They'll come back in some.
There's
form.
I think he has a plan for that. So. Yeah. The other good thing I liked in the last episode, at least, it was a good moment when Dany had to lock up her dragons.
Yeah.
I don't
that
know.
split my household. That did.
I don't know how to feel about it because I've never read the books, so I don't.
They're her babies. It'd be like taking your dogs and locking them in a cage.
This is exactly what my missus was like. She's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "They're killing machines. They're like, they're fucking dragons."
It'd be like taking your little kitty cats with their bell collars on and locking them in a dungeon. I mean, you can't do that.
I think why it's hard for me to really feel bad for her is because of how she's been portrayed on the show. Like, I mean, from what you've said about her in the books and what another friend of mine have said is that she's different than what they're showing and she's even better in the books. So it's hard for me to feel bad for her for locking them up. But yeah, I agree that's what she has to do because they're starting to kill people. They're starting to get out of control. I mean, she can't control them forever.
She's a Targaryen, goddammit. She rules.
See, the thing with Daenerys,
by fear.
I think that she's actually going to end up being a complete cunt. I honestly do.
I think so too. Because
you guys do know that one of the dragons is still out. The big boys.
Drogon. Yeah, Drogon. Yeah.
I just got a feeling that she's got this kind of like, you know, Misa mother kind of thing, you know, she's everyone's kind of favorite. She's kind of a goodie, you know, inverted commas. But I honestly think that when it comes to like her actually taking back the Iron Throne or starting some kind of proper military campaign, not just freeing slaves, she's actually going to be a real bastard. She's going to be just like Stannis.
Yeah.
She's going to be, calculated, cruel, and cold-hearted. I mean, she's already shown that because she's being like that. With
I wish you guys were caught up.
No, I'm glad I'm not because I'm able to speculate on this and then later on find out whether I'm right, you know, or wrong.
Yeah.
I find out when I'm reading a book, I don't kind of speculate as much. I just go through it until I get the bit of story. But with a TV show, I can sit back and reflect a lot more. But
let's just say you're a very studious Game of Thrones watcher. Let's leave it at that. I think you have some good ideas for where things are headed.
Yeah, and that's all they are. The ideas are just, it's all, based on some logic that I've seen.
Yeah.
Some stuff that makes my mind think like that. The fact that she cast out Sajura so quickly shows that, she's quick to just say, right, no, I'm not having none of it. You go. I don't care how loyal you have been since this, your betrayal. I don't give a shit. You're on your own.
In the book, she kicks him out before they even. I mean, she essentially sends him and Barristan Selmy on a suicide mission to capture Meereen because they actually siege Meereen. They can't get in. They have to go through the sewers and. Where in the show they just made it like it was a slave revolt and it was easy peasy, but she finds out early on that Jorah was the one selling secrets back to King Robert, and she's also not Barristan. You gotta understand. I mean, Barristan was her father's right hand man, Kingsguard, and then he just joined up with Robert because that's what he's supposed to do. That's the honorable thing to do. But she managed to forgive Barristan so that he gets to stay, but she actually is so hurt by Jorah betraying her because he's been with her the longest.
And he's it's obvious that he had emotional feelings for her.
She tells him to get the fuck out. I mean, she's just crushed by it, and where Jorah ends up is it's depressing.
It's a shame because I really like Ser Jorah.
Yeah, he gets. I mean, her basically telling him to fuck off just destroys his soul.
Well, I mean, it looked like he was destroyed on the show, and just making an attempt to beg, and she just seems so cold. I mean, and with
that's
reason.
That's it. Yeah.
And
no, that Benson's keyed on to something. She can be the sweet Dany, and in the book where she's reflecting to herself, you can still feel that she's an unconfident young girl, but in front of people, she starts to kick ass.
If you take it back to series 1, when she watches her own brother die, and we all, everyone hated, her brother, but what she says is very telling as to the kind of personality that she now has.
She basically said, "Don't you fuck with me or my kids? You're done."
It wasn't just that, but she said, it's just the way she just went. He was no dragon. Fire can't kill a dragon, and it's the way that she delivered that line. Just made me realise, like even then, that she's not to be fucked with. She's got a cold heart as much as it's warm. She's like, I think she's balanced in respect that, like I said, she's freeing these slaves. But why is she freeing them? Is she freeing them because she doesn't like the way they're treated, or is she freeing it because she realises that she can win over a population?
Well, and I think with her character, because she can either be very compassionate and empathetic to the slaves and freeing them, she also sets a good example that if the minute that she's messed with or toyed with, the only way to make an example of someone is you just straight up kill them, or you just do something really horrible, and it just sends that message of
But then look at like what she did with the slave masters.
Yeah.
Now I can't remember. I think it was Ser Barristan who said, "Look, you shouldn't. By showing an act of cruelty, you're not really.
But,
it doesn't make amends for acts of cruelty."
Yeah, but and to elaborate on that, it's that kind of leadership or whatever mentality she's going about this can only work for so long, because
it worked for Saddam Hussein. He was the only motherfucker that could keep the Middle East in check. Look what happened ever since we kicked his ass out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's not get into that. That's a bit of a touchy one there. That would take us over our kind of self-imposed time limit.
We're talking about something not real.
Don't get me started on US foreign policy, mate.
We're not talking about. We're talking about Saddam Hussein was the only psycho that could handle the Middle East. But anyways, let's kind of move on from Dany. I think we covered her pretty well, and just so we don't go on too long. I guess this season, what was a standout moment for you? What was the most memorable moment? What are you going to remember about season 4?
Jaime Lannister finally showing some redeeming qualities, that he's not a bastard after all.
That's a very interesting take on it. I've always felt the same way about Jaime too, and I hated that they made that choice in the TV show to make it look like he raped his sister on Joffrey's corpse, because he does not. They actually, Jaime actually just gets back to King's Landing as the funeral is going on, so he just returns. He didn't witness anything, and it was more like, oh, I haven't seen you forever. We need to fuck, even though our son is dead. But yeah, Jaime definitely really starts to come around, and he really starts to think about all the shit he used to do and what his family has done. So interesting.
Jaime's a completely different character since he lost his hand. He's lost that smugness, hasn't he?
Well, his hand was his power. I mean, he was a master swordsman, and when you chop up his hand, all he has now is his mouth and his family's money. And
I think, and again, not reading the books, I don't know what role Brienne really plays, but they had a really good relationship in season 3, and I think
it's a romance you wanted to happen, isn't it?
Well, no, I wasn't really rooting for a romance, but
or something though, surely.
I
mean, companionship's a little bit, I think, too
Anna's right. Brienne is the person that brought about some of his change too. I mean, the hand, but Brienne and just how he saw how loyal and honorable she was.
And I think
it starts to change him. I mean, that's why he gives her Oathkeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's cold as well, man. Brienne's a cold bitch, you know, but honourable.
Yeah,
she hasn't got like the conniving.
Yeah. By the way, she never runs into Arya and fights the Hound and almost kills him. That was all made for TV too.
But that was a really good fight, though.
Yeah, I mean, the Hound does end up getting mortally wounded, and Arya does say, "Hey, you know what? Fuck you. I've always wanted you to die anyway, so I'm just going to let you suffer." But it doesn't go down that way.
I don't care. I don't care what you say. I'm denying it. He's still alive.
I said mortally wounded, right? I did not say dead.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, well,
exactly. I mean, Game of Thrones is one of those things. It's like if you don't see them die,
they're not dead. But
so there's another person to keep in mind too. His brother.
Mean, the Hound and the Mountain.
Oh yeah.
Both of them. I mean.
Well, you got to see it in the last episode that Cersei has Qyburn doing some voodoo shit.
Yeah, what the fuck's all that? Is he like turning into some kind of like?
Well, he's poisoned from the blades.
I guess we'll have to find out.
Oh,
yeah. I'll tell you what.
What about you, Benson's? What
memorable
was your
moments?
standout?
There's a couple. There's obviously the deaths, which are pretty memorable because they will stick out. Joffrey, hands down, it's going to be the most memorable moment.
Of course.
I think. For most people.
Most celebrated moment.
Yeah, the most. I don't know, because I think I mentioned it on a podcast before. I was happy to see the little prick die, but at the same time, I was kind of like, no.
Yeah, I mean, I
love Joffrey, the character. Yeah. You know, was just brilliantly brutal and horrid that it made it fascinating to watch, to see how much of a twat.
Well, I mean, his death is the first time you're actually like, holy shit, Martin actually killed one of the bad guys off and not the good guys.
Yeah, no, true, definitely. And obviously Oberyn, that's another death that people remember. But I think for the gore rather than anything else.
That cocky motherfucker, though. Like, he's so stupid. Like, I get it. You wanted him to admit it.
You raped her. You killed her. You murdered her children. You raped her. You killed her.
I would have loved to have seen him and Jaime Lannister have a fight when Jaime, was the bastard that he was.
Slayer.
Yeah, when he was the Kingslayer, because their cockiness against each other would just have been
in the book they give Oberyn a bit more backstory, and you kind of know that he's a big badass. I thought this actor was brilliant. I didn't think he was as big as Oberyn appeared to me in my mind when I read about it, but the actor was great. But Oberyn is a very well-known, skilled spearsman, so he did have the mountain beat. I mean, this guy beat the unbeatable guy, because he was so fixed on getting him to admit that he killed his sister at the behest of Tywin Lannister that he fucks up.
Yeah, that's it. The moment he started, like you say, shouting that stuff, I knew then. I knew right then that was it.
But I mean,
and I was getting a little bit pissed off with George Martin for doing that kind of stuff, because it's like, it's going to get old if that's your trick, to make you think that someone's going to win a fight and then eventually do something and lose it. It's going to get very stale very quick.
Well, just to get topical, the U.S. played a pretty intense World Cup match on Sunday against Portugal. We're in stoppage time. The U.S. was winning with 30 seconds to go. They let Portugal's Ronaldo pass a ball into the penalty box, and their dude scores to tie the game. And if you got on Twitter right after that, there's so many people going like, "Holy fuck! George R.R. Martin just wrote the ending of the World Cup match." Or like that, like, "That was our red wedding," or that was our Oberyn fight. I thought that was perfect. So sorry to get off topic.
No.
But
that was one of those moments where you think something great is going to happen, then at the last second they kick your balls and spit in your face.
And speaking of that fight, it was gruesome the way he went out. If you're gonna go out,
it wasn't shocking, was it? Like, it wasn't shocking that he was
crushing his head.
Obviously,
no.
Yeah, one or two of them were gonna die. Sorry, one of the two of them was gonna die. There was no doubt about it. Definitely knew that. But it was there, like you say, the gore.
Yeah.
The gore of it was just
That
so
was
horrendous.
awesome. I mean, they really did that scene justice. I mean, it played out pretty much the way I had it in my mind.
I mean, and
he punches his teeth, all his teeth out. I love it.
and I mean, if you remember, he does get him once on the leg and then gets him on the chest with the blade. And in the last episode, when he's laying on the table, like you see there's something, the mountain, there's something wrong with his skin. I mean, those blades had to have been poisoned. I mean,
Well, I don't know if you notice it, and they do. If you know what to look for, they make it very clear. But when his squire is lubing up his spear, he's essentially wiping the poison all over it.
right. That I didn't catch that something was being put on the blade. I mean, it was only in the season finale that, I put 2 and 2 together that something had to have been on the blade, and that.
And the whole reason he did the poison wasn't to cheat, but that type of poison causes the most long-lasting, excruciating death. So rather than, he didn't want to just, kill him outright. He wanted to make it look like he was dead, but that the poison was just going to make him suffer longer.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so I think another kind of is something we got a little more information about this season that is still kind of playing out early as far as if you want to look at how it happened in the books, but the whole Theon saga and how he's been captured by Ramsay, who is now Ramsay Bolton, used to be Ramsay Snow.
I said earlier before we went on recording, I said, is it still Theon, or are we now, committed to Reek?
I mean, just from the way the book reads, when you're in the mind of Theon, because really the way Martin writes the books, each chapter is from a perspective of a character. So when you're reading a Theon or a Reek chapter, you kind of get some insights into how he's thinking. And deep down, I think he still knows he's Theon, but he's just been so terrorized and frightened and fearful for his life and being flayed and tortured and teeth and penises cut off that he does assume the Reek identity for Ramsay to keep Ramsay happy. He does sleep with the dogs. He's not allowed to bathe or anything. His teeth are all punched out. So,
I mean, even when his sister comes and fights through all these, all the guards.
He's so whacked out. He's so scared of Ramsay, he doesn't even want to try to escape. So
that Ramsay, mate, such a freak.
He is a nightmare of a person. I mean, we talked before we went on air, but I mean, in the books, the guy is just demonic. I mean, his whole life has been nothing but torturing people. What? And there was an original Reek. I don't know if you guys really want to go into that, but.
If it's Ramsay, spoilers, no.
It's quick. When Ramsay was a kid, he was a bastard. Roose wanted nothing to do with him, so he sent him off to live with his bastard, his bastard mom or whatever you want to call it. And then she's like, "This kid's unruly. I need help." And he's like, "All right, I'll send this Reek character down there." So Reek was kind of a fucked up person who did naturally just smell. That's why they called him Reek. So Reek and Ramsay were like buddies, best buds. They learned how to be demented together. So fast forward many years later, if you remember, Theon took Winterfell, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They had a prisoner there who was Reek, or who they thought was Reek. And it was actually Ramsay, because what had happened is Sir Roderick went out to get Ramsay because he was going around fucking killing people. He's just being a dick. So they go out to find him. The original Reek gets wounded. Ramsay knows he's lost, so he basically takes Reek's clothes, turns into Reek, and pretends he's Reek. So Roderick arrests him as a prisoner, brings him to Winterfell. So Reek's there. Theon takes over. Reek befriends Theon. Again, Reek is actually Ramsay, to convince him, hey, let me go. I'll go get help. Blah, blah, blah. That's when Ramsay gets out of Winterfell, comes back with his army, kills Sir Roderick in the battlefield. Then they are the ones that raise Winterfell and kill the
God,
pikemen.
it's so different then.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, there's Theon is actually the second coming of Reek, is what I was getting at.
Right, I see.
So Ramsay basically wanted another play toy human to torture and kind of be his crony.
The point I wanted to make with Theon is that it's kind of it's kind of like Jaime Lannister, did these really horrible things, and you hated them.
Oh, I hated his guts for what he did to the Starks. I mean, he's the reason why all the Starks got fucked. He's the reason why Robb ended up getting killed.
Well, it's not just the Starks, is it?
Why Winterfell was burned down, why all the brothers got split up.
Oh, what's his name? The Maester.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
That's what...
Lewin.
Is it Lewin?
Yeah, I think so.
Maester Lewin? Yeah, and obviously in the TV show, not the books, but it's Sir Roderick as well.
He does not kill... Ramsay actually kills Sir Roderick, because like I said...
In the books,
but in the book, Sir Roderick and Ramsay's army rolls up, and Roderick's like, all right, well, they're from the north, so they're going to help us get the Iron Men out of here. And as Roderick goes out to extend the sign of, hey, man, thanks for coming, Ramsay chops his fucking arm off and then kills him, kills all the Winterfell Northmen, and then, that's how they get control of Winterfell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that killed me when Theon did that to the Starks, because even though he was basically their prisoner of war, I mean, they treated him well. He was basically best friends with Robb, and
it felt like the ultimate betrayal, didn't it?
Yeah, Robb trusted him enough to say, "Hey, man, let's get your dad to come help us," and blah blah blah. And then he gets there, and Theon he still wants to help the Starks, but then Balon works him over, and you're an Ironborn, and blah blah blah. And then Theon makes decisions. But in the book, one thing that because when Theon is under siege at Winterfell, Ramsay's army wants to kill him. The Maester basically comes up like, Theon, there's still hope. You can, surrender, and we'll make sure you go to the Night's Watch. You won't get killed or whatever. And Theon is ready to accept that until Ramsay shows up and burns the place down and turns him into his play toy.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You end up feeling so much... I didn't feel sorry for Theon to begin with, because obviously I was thinking he was getting his just desserts for doing what he did to the
but then
the
he gets it
lads.
times 10.
Yeah,
his dick cut off, his teeth busted in, his hands broken, his feet broken.
The sausage scene.
Yeah,
still one of my favourite scenes. I mean, the fact he brings in like a couple of whores, to get him hard, and then he chops it off.
Man. Yeah.
That's
and the actor that plays him, I mean, did a really good job this season of portraying that terrified, at
season 1, Theon was a very sure-headed, cocky type of man. I mean, he was sure of his skills. He could bang women whenever he wanted.
I mean,
he was good on the battlefield.
I mean, he was even feeling his sister up, and he didn't even know it was his sister.
Oh yeah, that was great.
So
the thing is, she let him. Do you know what I mean? I don't blame him for that. She let him. It's just like, what the fuck? He paid the iron price.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I agree with everything you guys are saying. Like, I didn't feel bad for him at first, but then just seeing everything that has happened and the toll that it's taken on him. I genuinely thought at some point he was just going to have a turnaround and haha, psych, I've been playing you. I'm not really mentally broken. I'm not your slave and I'm going to kill you. And that never happened. So I was kind of disappointed in that, but I'm pretty sure something is going to happen.
I feel like a person who, I don't know, is like in a Roman Colosseum, and I'm screaming at the emperor, mercy, please. Let's have some mercy here. Yeah. Because the torture and the mental destruction that he's gone through is just so horrendous. He's better off dead. And I don't think anyone could disagree with that. He really is better off dying.
Yep.
The whole, that talk, I mean, it's so well done. Both of them actors, I forget their names. One, Alfie something is the guy that plays Theon.
Alfie's Theon.
Yeah, and I can't remember who plays...
The other guy we'll call Georgie.
Georgie. But yeah, no, they acted perfectly, I think. Bouncing off of each other. Yeah. One being really psychotic
Theon's
and
definitely
crazy.
a tragic character, so we'll see where he ends up.
And again, I'm not good with the names, but the guy that has him, what's his name, Ramsay? Yeah, yes. And his voice, that weird... It's not high pitched, not really nasally, but it's a weird tone.
It's kind of like a leprechaun.
Yeah, it's
like an evil leprechaun.
Very sneaky tone to him. So it makes it even better.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so who knows? Maybe Theon will forever be a bitch.
Pisses me off that I got to wait another fucking 12 months.
10 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's why I ended up starting to read the books, because the show got me so interested in the world and in Westeros and everything. I'm like, I can't wait for the series. I'll read the books. I was like, by the time I get through the books, maybe we'll have book 6 out.
But do you feel now, being caught up on the books and knowing what happens, do you still feel an element of surprise when you watch the show, or do you?
Yeah, I do. I mean, that's why I started the series of posts. Game of Thrones episode name, What Was Different? Because for me now, it's the shows are okay. What did the showrunners do differently to portray the content from the book?
I can agree with that, because you just have to listen back to what I was saying about earlier. The fact that you were saying about Sir Roderick and the whole Reek thing, and I'm like, wow, look how much different that is in the book in comparison to the TV show.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see where you're coming from on that, but I'm still glad that I haven't read the books, because I want to. A lot of people will read the book before they watch something, and then you get these people that are real snobbish about it. And if you are one of those people that are a snob, go fuck yourself, because like a TV show is a TV show at the end of the day.
Yes, I'm always a visual guy. If I watch something that was a book, I'll watch it first. I never read and then watch. I'm a watch and then read. Like if I watch something and it's good, then I'll read it.
Yeah, no, I'm the same, because I think that obviously when you read something, you have so much more of your imagination to play with that you kind of, it becomes very hard for you to then accept somebody else's visual kind of representation of characters. Whereas
but I did watch
book.
I watched season 1 without reading the book, so I had an idea what the people looked like, and I do like that, having actors to apply to a book character. For some reason, I guess I'm lazy and I don't want to dream up what they look like, but I did kind of like knowing that. Oh yeah, Eddard Stark is Sean Bean, and Cersei is Lena Headley or whatever the fuck her name is.
Headley. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm at this point. I just want Martin to get that damn book 6 out, because book 5 ends on a doozy of a cliffhanger. I mean, you haven't seen cliffhangers like this in this show.
How many books is there going to be?
There's supposed to be 7,
and only 5 are out right now, right?
Right, and book 6, I believe, was supposed to be released in 2011.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
And the TV show, they think they're going to wrap it in 7 seasons. So I don't know how that's going to work out.
No, because he's got to write the bloody thing before they finish it, surely.
Yeah.
Unless it's going in a different direction.
And he's even been heard saying he's like, I don't know how they'll do it. They may have to add another season or this, that, and the other thing. So I just want the book to come out, because 2 very prominent characters their lives are left in balance. It literally just book's over. Oh shit! What is going to happen to these 2?
What now?
Yeah, and they are 2 major players. So, anything else from the gang on Game of Thrones season 4? I mean, I think overall was another stellar season. Some most watched series on HBO at this point.
And Bran. I mean, they touched a little bit on Bran. Yeah. I mean,
that's a fast forward moment. That scene does not happen until A Dance with Dragons.
Okay.
Yeah, Bran finds the three-eyed crow, who is basically the green seer of all green seers. Green seers can inhabit any life.
Yeah. I was gonna say, not gonna lie, in the finale, I really thought Hodor was done for, and then
Nah, whenever Bran takes him over, he becomes the meanest bitch in Westeros.
Well, and then that happened, and I'm like, oh, thank God. I was like, I'm not ready for another death right now.
No, so I'm sure you guys have gathered that Bran obviously has some amazing warg powers. I mean, Jon Snow can warg into ghosts. Not that they've ever showed that on the TV show, but Jon Snow also has the warg powers. But Bran is something special. He's a green seer. He can channel his essence into trees, fucking plants. So the three-eyed crow, and I don't know any more than you guys do, but I'm guessing the three-eyed crow is obviously going to train Bran to take full advantage of his powers, and then Bran will probably take over for the crow and be the whatever the fuck they do up there, the children and all the magical part of Game of Thrones. So I don't. I mean,
He's
the
gonna become
brand
a lost
actor
boy.
the brand actor just keeps getting too damn old. I mean, that guy, he was like a little kid in season 1.
We watched him go through
He
puberty.
was
We
gonna
watched his
say-
voice break.
Right, he's gonna have a freaking beard and an Adam's apple next season.
That was so freaky because was it from season 2 to 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the
difference.
kids, obviously. I mean, Sansa gained. She grew like 6 inches in height. I mean, she's a woman now. Little
Yeah.
Arya is much bigger now.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about Sansa, but all I'm gonna say is that she knows what she needs to do now, and I'm pretty sure she's willing to do whatever it takes to.
Yeah, she's.
Yeah.
I don't want to
she
get on.
is
Yeah, I don't want to get
playing.
on a new topic, but to me, the whole thing I liked was the revelation that Littlefinger has been at the root of. I mean, he kicked this entire show off.
Yeah.
I mean, by him convincing Nutjob to kill her husband and then send a
Yeah.
false letter to Kat,
Yep.
that starts everything.
Yep.
So Littlefinger's a big
yeah.
player. Varys is a
Fuck.
big player, even though they both came from nothing,
Yeah.
which is, I think, kind of Martin's point that, the Game of Thrones, anyone can play. It doesn't matter if you're from a long-established family or
Yeah.
not. So,
Okay, a little
like
bit
you,
off
I
topic.
can't wait till next spring, but
I was going to say, for those that are left for something to watch, 3 shows that people should watch to kind of fill the void. What would your take be?
Or
go ahead, Andy. You do
Orphan
one.
Black, if you haven't seen it.
Orphan Black.
It's on a-
I've never even heard of it.
It's it's definitely a sci-fi take on it, but it's more on cloning and just
okay.
getting to the truth behind the clones, and it's really good show. It's on BBC
Okay.
America. The first season, if you have Amazon Instant Prime, you can watch the first season there. The second season just ended last week and ends on a cliffhanger. So if anyone's seen Orphan Black, and I forget the actress that is the lead in the show, but she plays about 4 different versions of herself, varying from like super crazy psychopath to uptight soccer mom to like really cool hippie chick. Yeah, it's a really good show if you have not seen it. It's short.
okay.
It's
What's-
like 10 episodes.
What's a soccer mum?
Like super uptight cookie cutter. Like
football mom.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, hold on.
Football.
Let me translate soccer. Football.
No, I get that. I get that, but I've never heard the
Soccer moms are women that drive around in big ass
Yeah.
SUVs or vans,
Yeah.
carting their kids to soccer practice,
And-
this recital, that recital.
Yeah, and
right,
like
okay, there we go.
and
Yeah,
like
that makes
everything,
sense, yeah.
and like they give the portrayal that everything is peachy keen, and
Yeah, like a Stepford wife.
yeah, kind of,
almost.
and then
ya.
all the clones they
Okay.
have monitors. Like it's this whole big thing. Like there's these clones, and they know about each other, but there are also people that are out to get them, and they have these monitors, and then you never know who is playing who, and it's a really cool show.
All right,
Yeah,
how
I
about
think
you, Benson's? What's your
For me,
recommendation?
I'm going to have to tell people to wind it back a few years and start on The Wire because it's one of my
Yeah,
all-time.
I need to do that, and I've heard many people I respect, you being
You've not
one of them.
seen it?
No, that all say it's fantastic.
Fuck.
So yeah, that's
Yeah, great
I'll
series.
put that on my to-do list.
I-
For me, I would go with. Oh, there's so much crap. Arrow,
Arrow?
True Detective.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, if you've been living under a rock, Breaking Bad,
Breaking Bad,
was
yeah.
a great thing to get through.
Well, that's what we had last year, wasn't it? We had the finale of Breaking Bad to look forward
Yeah.
to.
But now that the whole series is on Netflix, so if you have not watched it, you can pretty much watch it from season 1 through season 5, part 2. So that would be my homework in between now and
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. Or if you want to be like me and find out what the hell is really happening, you could read the books. Sometimes go
Yeah.
old school and
be a
exercise
spoilerific
the brain and
dick.
eyes out.
But
Yeah.
who has time for that?
All right, people. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in again. Hopefully the 3 of you are one fan from N4G. Hey, buddy, we love you. I think your name's Farsender or something. You are the champion of the Budacast, and we appreciate you. I just want
EB
you to know
salute.
that. Yes, seriously. If you can hear that, that's me giving you some dap on my chest.
Sweet.
All right, so again, I'm Matt Haywood. You can follow me on Twitter, and Benson's will be happy to know that I have changed my handle
Oh, here we go. Applause.
I've changed my handle. Yep. Are you guys ready for this? So now instead of at Matt H3Wood, it is at MATTR Haywood, HEYWOOD. So Matt R. Haywood. That is the new Twitter handle. Ent Buddha is at Ent Buddha. Hit us up on Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube. You got to watch some of Benson's videos. You got to watch the trailers we throw up. So on the Bensons, anything you want to plug for us, buddy?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at 10Bensons. And I'm going to spell it out. TEN Bensons, BENSONS.
Awesome. And I don't know, I think Anna had some thunderstorm difficulties. Anna, were you able to come back in? Okay.
I'm back.
So we're just doing our old, round the table plug, and anything you want to promote this weekend, your Twitter, Facebook, movies, what do you got?
You can follow me on Twitter at Febzilla. If you're going to go to the movies, go watch Transformers Age of Extinction.
By the way, it's almost 3 hours long.
Dinobots, yeah. I saw that. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get to see it this weekend, but if you have a chance, go see that. And if you...
I will be there tomorrow. Review will be out on Sunday, so I'll let you know if this mess is anything
If
good.
you are wanting to laugh and not think about anything, go see 22 Jump Street. It is hilarious. Like,
I need to do
just
that too.
as funny as the
I just
first
realised,
one.
was you talking about Transformers?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I say, my review? Shit. There we go. Move on.
Thank you. Okay, so Benson's gives it a 0 out of 100. I'll be giving my official review on Sunday. It'll probably be more than 0.
Please be reminded that 10 Benson's personal opinions are, in fact, his personal opinions and not, representative
Right.
of
His ratings
as a whole.
are shit, shittier, and shittiest. So if you can get a shit out of Benson's, you're doing something right. All right, anyways, geeks, gamers, and nonconformists, it's been real as always. We may or may not do one of these next week, get back on our every other week schedule, because we've kind of been peppering you with
like
Buddhacast this
nearly
past
4
week.
hours.
But if you-
Yeah, we're like real deal broadcasters
of our wonderful
now.
voices.
But if you really, really want another one, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow our Instagram, let us know. And we'll be more than happy to please our EB Nation.
yeah.
But you have to let us
give
know.
us
we're on
topics.
iTunes. Right, how many of you bastards bought an iPhone? Almost every fucking one of you. So
Yeah,
you're going to have
subscribe.
iTunes.
Hit it up in iTunes. Search for the ultimate podcast for geeks on Google. I guarantee we'll be on the first
Exactly.
page.
All you hipsters out there, we know you've got an iTunes account. So we know you've got a MacBook Pro.
Entertainment Buddha or Entertainment Buddha.
Buddha?
Buddha.
Buddha.
Yeah, it's a Buddha.
Buddha.
Can't beat a bit of Buddha.
You say Buddha, I say Buddha. All right, I think we're all getting a little loopy here, but anyways, geeks, it's been real. Make sure to tune in each and every week to entertainmentboo.com, because we make you a better geek one post at a time. I will see you later.
Laters.
Bye.